Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the tournament of Season 5 of Supernatural. So for those that are new to my channel potentially and just tuning into this video, what I do at the end of every season of Supernatural, rather than rank the episode from my least favourite to my favourite, because I really struggle with that, particularly when it's 22 episodes, there's always a bunch at the top that I know about, a bunch at the bottom, and then there's just a middle bunch where I really struggle to kind of differentiate what goes where. So instead what I've decided to do for Supernatural is put it into a website called bracketfights.com. So what that does is it takes two episodes at random and says, out of these two, what's your favourite? Then takes another two, out of these two, what's your favourite? And then out of those two favourites, you have to pick between those two. It whittles them all down from all 22 episodes to the final two, and then you pick your favourite of the season. And I do it all again for my least favourite. Every season I struggle with my most favourite. There's always a couple right near the top. But this season in particular was so strong and such a fantastic season that for me, I can't say I think this is going to be on top. I've got like 4 or 5 that I loved. And so I'm going to struggle. There'll probably be a lot of me editing bits out where I'm just sat there going, which one do I prefer? Because normally when it gets down to the final 2, final 3, final 2, I am really struggling to decide between 2 episodes. The least favourite is normally easier because there's normally 1 or 2 where I'm like, yeah, they're near the bottom. But again, this season's hard because every episode I enjoyed, I can't think of any that I didn't like. Whereas I know with season 1 to 4, there's always quite common episodes that come near the bottom of people's lists, from looking at comments from my reactions, from my rankings of season 1 to 4, my tournament, should I say, which I'll put in the description box below. I'll put links to those 4 episodes if you've not seen them before and you like this one, go back and watch them. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this turns out. Very intrigued to see how this turn out. I wonder if it's going to follow the same sort of pattern of season 1 to 4 for me, where I think I need to have a double check it. I'll check it when I do the editing, but I'm sure the first 4 seasons, my favourite episode has been the season finale. We'll see if that continues. But if you enjoy the video, please let me know down below in the comments what you think. And if this is the first time tuning into my channel, hi, my name's Scott. I do reactions to a few different TV shows. Supernatural, I am loving. I've done season 1 to 5. There's reactions all on my channel in one big playlist. And there's a Patreon link as well in the description box if you want to help support the channel and watch the full reactions to these episodes. So, because I took quite a long break from YouTube for coming back, my full reactions to Supernatural start from season 5, episode 18, the 100th episode, and the rest of season 5 is on Patreon. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the start of season 6 will be on there as well. I'm wearing a Christmas jumper because I'm filming this the week of Christmas. It's Monday, Christmas is on Sunday, but you guys on YouTube will probably be seeing this late January, early February, not too sure yet. But I like a Christmas jumper, it's cozy, it's cold in the UK right now, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave some comments down below. Let's jump into the season 5 tournament of Supernatural. And also, if you want to play along, grab a piece of paper. Anytime a match comes up, maybe write down your favourite and then do it the way I do it and whittle it all down. Let me know your favourite episode of the season, least favourite episode of the season, down below in the comments. Let's have a chat and let's jump into the episode. Okay, I'm hoping this all comes up on screen properly. The website's being a little funny at the moment, but I'm hoping you can see this all. If not, I'll edit it or try and edit it so that you can see at least sort of what's going on. But the first match, I'm going to try and do this semi-quickly because I know I can talk for England. Okay, so the first match is The Song Remains the Same versus I'm Interrupted. Song Remains the Same was obviously Anna's final episode. She came back to kill Mary. She'd gone back in time to kill Mary so that Sam and Dean were never born, to try and stop the apocalypse. I do enjoy the episodes that go into the past to see young Mary because she's adorable. I love the fact that she's a hunter. Young John because he's hot. And just it's interesting to see this time travel aspect with Sam and Dean meeting their parents when they were young and just how they try and act cool. Sam Interrupted was a good episode. It was actually a really fun kind of Monster of the Week episode where they get inside a mental hospital, asylum, whatever you want to call them. And look how good they look in those t-shirts. Even just that thumbnail that I chose. Oh, Sam and Dean looked so good in those shirts. And they were hunting a demon that was in there. There was another hunter that was in there. And it was just fun. And I didn't guess who the monster was. Although there was that, the monster got the pleasure of putting the fingers up. Let's just put it that way. They put the pleasure of using their fingers in certain places on Sam and Dean. So, lucky demon. But it was a fun episode. But I think ultimately, The Song Remains the Same was more important to the story. I like the Angel episodes. I like the past episodes. I enjoyed, whilst I did feel conflicted about how they turned Anna from kind of someone that we were working with to kind of a villain. I did enjoy the episode. Shame to see Anna go, but I think between the two, the song remains the same. For me, was a better episode. Okay, second match. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid versus Hammer of the Gods. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid was about Death without ever seeing Death, who was bringing people back to life in that little town where we met Jodie. And it was sad. Bobby's wife came back, Jodie's son came back, and it was dark at points, whilst also being really sad when we knew we had to just kill them all. And obviously Jodie had to let her son get killed, Bobby had to kill his wife. Really sad. Really, for a zombie episode, kind of, sort of, it was sad. And Hammer of the Gods had the gods convening in the motel. Sam and Dean were there, and they were trying to kill them and they wanted Sam and Dean there to try and help stop the apocalypse, or at least kill them to stop the apocalypse. Lucifer arrived, Gabriel was there. Gabriel ended up dying. I think easily between the two, I preferred Hammer of the Gods. I think it was such a fun episode with all the different gods, but also I really enjoyed Gabriel and the Trickster, and I'm sad to see him go. Really sad to see him go. Also, on a side note, I wish the sides were balanced on this website, but just the way that it fills them in automatically, it fills all one side in, and then what it can on the next, was I would like to kind of balance them a bit more. But anyway, back to the episodes. Hammer of the Gods, I think definitely was more fun. Sad to see the Trickster die. I enjoy Lucifer. I think Mark Pellegrino plays him brilliantly, and the gods were fun, Sam and Dean were fun, and I think the episode itself stuck with me more. Whilst Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid was sad, Hammer of the Gods was also sad watching the Trickster go, but I think I enjoyed that episode more between the two. The Curious Case of Dean Winchester and Point of No Return. Easy ones for me to pick already, but I'll quickly go over them. Curious Case of Dean Winchester, there was the demon who played the gambling, the card game. Was it the poker? Card game? Played poker. You bet your life. You bet your years away. And Dean ended up betting his years away to try and save Bobby, who'd already played the game because he was in a wheelchair. Dean became older, and it was kind of about the funny episode about how he was trying to be himself whilst also being a lot older. There's also the sadness of the woman that was with this demon dude who was quite handsome. But Point of No Return, for me, so much better episode. 100th episode of the show. We had Adam coming back to life, Zachariah's death, more about the plans with the angels and the vessels and how we thought it was going to be about Adam. They were giving up on Dean, but they were then using him to get to Dean. But then Dean killed Zachariah, so Adam then got trapped, and I kind of guessed correctly that they were going to use Adam as the vessel. 100th episode. Castiel ripping his top open. I mean, hello. Highlight of the episode. It was great. It was what I expected from 100th episode. The drama, characters returning. My glasses are dirty. I apologise. And I just think between the two, it was obvious when I saw the match what was going to be the favourite. 100th episode was more memorable. Really a turning point for the show. Killing off the main character. Bringing back Adam. Really, really enjoyed it. Okay. Next time, My Bloody Valentine versus... What is that episode called? Because it's just so small on my screen. I Believe the Children Are the Future. My Bloody Valentine was great. So this is where we met Famine, the second horseman of the season. And his kind of power was to make people hungry, but not hungry necessarily for food, but hungry for whatever they desire. So we saw the couple that were hungry for love and passion. And they basically started to get it on, and then started to eat each other and tear each other apart, and died that way. So Sam hungry for demon blood, Castiel hungry for meat, and it was really dark, and Famine was really creepy. I loved what they did with him. For the Horsemen, I thought they were pretty much all great what they did. Famine was creepy as hell, just a dude in a wheelchair, and you could see that the impact he had was quite scary. I Believe the Children Are Our Future was about the kid who had those powers he didn't really know about, where he could say things and things would just happen. He had these extraordinary powers to tell people, like he told the demon to leave his mum's body, and it did, and he turned Castiel into the little figurine, and all these different things that were going on with him. Now, side note, let me just have a side note, right? I feel really uncomfortable watching this episode, because I rewatched obviously most of season 5 after I took the break. I feel so uncomfortable watching the episode because I realised that not long ago, during the break, I watched a horror film. Couldn't tell you what it was called. It wasn't the most memorable horror film. It was a slasher film, and there was a dude in it who took his shirt off, and I was like, oh, who's this cute guy? took his shirt off, he was hot, and then there's a scene where he's basically enjoying himself in his bedroom, and then he gets killed, and he's on the floor, and he's like butt naked, and he's sexy. I was watching this episode, and I was like, why does this kid look familiar? And then I realised it was the same bloody actor, and here he's a child, and that he's obviously an adult. And I was like, oh, I feel uncomfortable because I know I really enjoyed him in that movie for those reasons. So, yeah, that was a strange thing to realise. But then back to the episodes. I believe The Children of Our Future was good. I liked the kid. I thought he was actually a really good performer. And you felt sorry for him. He had this power thrust on him that he didn't want. And it was a shame that he's never going to crop up again, according to the comments, because I felt like they left it that he was so powerful and such a turning point for what could be the apocalypse, or to show his powers were so strong that he just disappeared. But I think between the two, My Bloody Valentine is kind of stuck in my head more. The people eating each other, the darkness of Dean, and having he wasn't affected by famine because there's nothing he desired. He was so empty that famine didn't affect him. Seeing obviously Sam and Castiel going through it, and yeah, I actually really enjoyed both episodes. They're both quite memorable. The kid was so great in that episode, and such a good actor, and I felt so sorry for him. But I think My Bloody Valentine, I really kind of got disturbed by a little bit. So between the two, I think I'm going to pick My Bloody Valentine, but that is a difficult one because I did enjoy both episodes. Alrighty, Roo, Free to Be You and Me versus the 2 Minutes to Midnight. So Free to Be You and Me was the third episode. I'll probably say not my favourite episode of the season, really. It was fun, but not overly memorable. Sam and Dean had separated, because Sam wanted to kind of resolve the ongoing issues he had with himself, with the demon blood and the darkness and the anger. And so he went off and was a bartender. Dean went off with Castiel and was trying to get Castiel laid. So that was really fun. But the Sam episode, or parts of the episode, weren't really memorable, particularly. Obviously, he was a bar person trying to live a normal life, but then people recognised him because they were hunters. They found out what he'd done, they blamed him, and eventually at the end of the episode we found out the visions of Jess that he was having was Lucifer, which I guessed quite early on, I think, because it was so soon after the first episode where the dude's wife was appearing to him, like his ex-wife that had died or whatever, and the baby visions. But it was good, it was fun, but I think ultimately kind of a forgettable episode, minus maybe Dean taking Castiel to a strip club. That was a bad plan because that was never going to end well, and it didn't end well, but was fun. 2 Minutes to Midnight was where we met the final two horsemen. We just met Pestilence briefly, but we got the rings for the final two horsemen. Pestilence was the Doctor, but ultimately Death was fantastic. I loved Death. His scenes were so memorable. The two scenes he had, one when he was walking down the street during the storm, and then the second one when he was just with Dean in the cafe, restaurant, pizzeria, whatever it was. I thought that was great. Really memorable, and how he was so built up, this character of Death. We're so scared to meet him. It's the final horseman. What's his big fight going to be? And Death just hands the ring over and says, I don't want to do this. I am Lucifer's pawn. I don't want to do this. And I'm trying to kind of make this not too talky, but I know what I'm like. I thought that scene was great. I thought it was really smart to do it that way. Really memorable. The actor was great. Dean was great in that scene. That scene was beautiful. We also had the scenes with Bobby and Sam that was amazing to see Bobby back on his feet. Easily between the two for me. 2 Minutes to Midnight. Next we have Good God Y'all, Dark Side of the Moon. Good God Y'all, Return of Ellen and Joe. I love those two characters. They were in a town where there's lots of demons. They're all killing each other. We met our first horseman, War. It turns out he was making people think there was demons in the town, so they were all killing each other. So these people saw these guys as demons, these guys saw these guys as demons, so they were just killing each other, killing innocent people. It was good. I liked War, I liked Ellen and Joe. I think Rufus was in it as well, which was cool. Not the best episode of the season, so I don't think it's going to beat Dark Side of the Moon, which I'll get to in a second. But it was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed Ellen and Joe. Oh, we'll get to that shortly, I imagine. And I like seeing Rufus again, and I like the idea of, because we had a few episodes where we're stuck in a small town with lots of demons, how do we survive? And this one had a twist on it where it's like there was no demons at all. Dark Side of the Moon Sam and Dean got shot to death right at the beginning by other hunters because of the apocalypse, because they kickstarted the apocalypse. They got murdered in the motel room, and it was about heaven, them going through their memories. And it's interesting, this was put onto YouTube recently, my reaction, and I loved the fact that Sam's memories were one thing and Dean's memories were something completely different. And it was interesting to me that in the comments he did say that these glasses are awful. It might be a scratch on them, actually. There was comments that did say there's a fan theory that the angels were messing with Sam's mind and Dean's mind by making their memories so separate to try and mess with them. I don't know if I prescribe to that theory, because for me, when Sam's memories were one thing and Dean was like, how can these be your precious memories? Mine are with family, yours are when you're not with family. Sam never went, well, they're not my favourite memories, I don't know what's happening. He obviously was like, well, this is why it was my good memory. And I loved this, and I was escaped from the demon life, and I was by myself, and I was loving it. He never went, oh, I don't know, that this wasn't that good a memory. I don't know why this has been put here, you know? So maybe I personally, this is just my opinion, I think the memories were legit, but because if the angels messed with them, then surely the angels would have been able to find them easier. Maybe. I don't know. Everyone's got a different opinion. I'm sure the comments will tell me why I'm wrong. But I thought the episode was really smart and psychologically really interesting to see how different their memories were, their favourite memories, and how they clashed, but they're also very similar, but they're also don't communicate, but they're trying to communicate and they don't listen. But I understood both sides of the point of view. That wasn't English. I understood both mindsets and why Dean's were one, Sam was another. But I just thought it was a really, really good episode and probably my favourite between the two. Okay, another really easy match for me. The Devil You Know, episode 20, Swan Song, the finale. The Devil You Know was okay. I think leading up to the finale, I was hoping for a bit more from it. But we had the demon that worked with Pestilence, and they were trying to track Pestilence down by following this dude, who the comment was right on Patreon. He was in Smallville. Thank you. That's where I knew him from. And he was someone that Sam went to college with, so that he was a demon all along, or at least from quite early in the college days. He was the one that killed Jess. There was stuff about the Croatoran virus. I thought it was okay. But ultimately, towards the end of the season, I wanted a bit more from the third to last episode. And I felt a little disappointed by it. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. It was good. I did not enjoy it, but I wanted a bit more. Swan Song. What can I say about Swan Song? Swan Song, season finale. Castiel died. Bobby died. Luckily they came back. Sam and the fight with Adam, but then Adam got the bomb, like the holy water bomb thing from Holy Fire. From Castiel, he disappeared. So it was Sam and Dean. Dean got through to Sam in that way that I've compared to another show's finale. If you know, you know. It was just a really emotional fight. It wasn't a big physical all-out brawl between the two. It was emotional, stopping Sam or helping Sam come through from Lucifer, fight back by getting through to the emotional side of everything. That was tough to watch. That was really tough to watch. And then Sam went to jump in the pit. Adam tried to stop him. Michael tried to stop him, but then they both fell in. Dean went to live a normal life with Ben and Lisa, but then Sam was somehow back. The finale was great. Easily out of the two, better. I don't even have to think about it. As soon as they came up, I was like, Swan Song, no problem. But it was emotional. It was dark. It was scary at points, not knowing what's going to happen. Obviously, the plan to push Sam into the cage failed the first time. But then just that emotional bit with the army figure. Or, as I'll say to people that know what I'm talking about, the yellow crayon. Oh, I love that kind of stuff. Oh, God, it's making me emotional just thinking about it. More so the yellow crayon, because it holds a personal place in my heart. But I'll talk about Supernatural more. Yeah, the army figure and all the memories of Sam and Dean, and we got the flashbacks. It was really sad, beautiful, loved Swan Song. Alright, last one on this side. We have 99 Problems and The Real Ghostbusters. 99 Problems, penultimate episode for the 100th episode. And they was the prophet who was telling everyone where all the demons were. They were going to fight these demons. Turned out she was no prophet at all. She was the whore of Babylon. And she was obviously creating chaos. And it was the same demons over and over again because she was giving them the fake, what's it called? Exorcism spells, sort of thing. And it was the same demons over and over again. She was getting them to kill innocent people. It was good. I liked it. It was actually quite fun. I liked the fact that it was quite obvious to me that maybe she was up to no good. I think. At least rewatching it. But obviously they went along with it. It was like a fanatical, kind of almost like a cult mentality where she started to convince everyone so much that she was right that they started to kill their own people. Not even thinking they were demons, but just like the dude that was the bartender that they shot and killed because he did something that she convinced them was wrong. It was really dark, actually, quite scary, especially when I think they started to realise what they'd done. But that was fun. But I actually think I preferred the real Ghostbusters. So this was like a fun, meta convention episode where Chuck, who writes the supernatural novels, held a convention. And so we got to see Sam and Dean go to that convention, and there was obviously a ghost there, because of course there was. And we saw all these people that were dressed as different monsters and demons that we'd met. People dressed as Sam, dressed as Dean, going on a ghost hunt, but then it turned into a real ghost hunt. And then we had a couple in particular, boys that were a couple actually, and that were dressed as Sam and Dean, trying to help them on the ghost hunt, but doing it very funny, like, I'm Dean, I'm dark, and all this stuff. And it was so fun. And this show can do meta, kind of like not many shows that I've seen before. There's a few shows that I watched that really pull meta off like this, and it's difficult to do it without being just cheesy, but at that right level of cheesy and funny and smart and heartwarming at the same time about how much these boys' stories have helped people. Between the two, easily the real Ghostbusters, for me personally, was better. Okay, let's try and whittle these down a bit more on this side. Try and do this quickly. Song Remains the Same versus Hammer of the Gods. Ooh, these are both quite good episodes, actually. Song Remains the Same, Hammer of the Gods. I think maybe controversially, I don't really know, because Hammer of the Gods is not on YouTube yet, so I don't have like a great array of opinions on what's happened, people's opinion to it. I think I preferred Hammer of the Gods, because I loved all the gods in the room. I love Lucifer. I love the Trickster. I'm so sad that he's gone. Whilst they were both sad episodes, it made me a bit like really sad for things. And I actually really loved both. So ultimately, I don't think either of these are going to come to the top spot anyway. But I've got a bit between the two just for this fight. I'm going to pick Hammer of the Gods. I feel like the consensus will be The Song Remains the Same. But I'm still a bit unsure about how I feel what they did with Anna. Whilst I enjoyed her in the episode, ultimately I'm not sure how I feel about the kind of what felt like a U-turn for her character. But I enjoyed Hammer of the Gods, I think, a bit more. Point of No Return, My Bloody Valentine. Both great episodes. Point of No Return for me. End of Zachariah. Adam coming back. Castiel's bare chest. I think just between the two, I prefer the 100th episode. Speak, Scott, teeth back in. 2 Minutes to Midnight and Dark Side of the Moon. Ooh, this is tough. I like 2 Minutes to Midnight, but I think I preferred the second half to the first, because I loved the stuff with Death and Bobby and Sam. The Pestilence stuff I thought was good, but not as good as the second half. But I'm going to go for Dark Side of the Moon, because I really enjoyed the Sam and Dean looking into their memories, what they look back on fondly, how can we interpret that psychologically. Someone put on YouTube a comment about how they're such fascinating characters to try and dissect, and I think that's clear in this episode why. So yeah, between the two, Dark Side of the Moon I think was a stronger episode. Swan Song versus Real Ghostbusters, again both good episodes, but there's no contest for me. Swan Song was so devastating. Real Ghostbusters was fun, but Swan Song didn't just have Sam going to the pit. It had Castiel and Bobby both dying, which I was traumatised by, and it was an epic conclusion to the season. Swan Song. I think Swan Song might be my favourite of the season, I think. But I'm going to do this fairly, just in case something does pip it to the post. Hammer of the Gods, Point of No Return. Yeah, I'm going to go Point of No Return. Whole episode was great. I really enjoyed it. Dark Side of the Moon, Swan Song. Again, both strong episodes. But Swan Song for me was just fantastic. 100th episode, Swan Song episode. I knew these two would be near the top, as well as another one at least, maybe two that's in the next part. Point of No Return versus Swan Song. This is so hard because it's like getting down to the nitty gritty. But I think I do prefer Swan Song. I feel like such a cliche, whereas my favourite episodes of the season are going to be finales. It might not yet. We'll see. But it was so good and devastating. And I know an episode is really good, whether it's funny, sad, scary, whatever, when it sticks with me after I've watched it. So I came away from Swan Song and I was sad. A little less sad, I think, because Sam came back right at the end. I think if he didn't, I would have been walking away more devastated. But Bobby came back, Castiel came back, and Sam came back. So all the devastation throughout, right by the end of the episode, I'd kind of calmed down a bit. But just it stuck with me, and I think that was more so what I said before about Dean letting Sam beat him up, saying like, I'm here for you, Sam, come on, like, fight this. And then the army man, and I've got to go for Swan Song, I'm sorry guys, I hope you agree, I loved it. Right, on to the second side. Sympathy for the Devil, Fallen Idols. Sympathy for the Devil was the first episode of the season, the fallout of Lucifer's cage being opened, Sam Dean being transported away by God, and then just trying to work out what can happen next. Then we found out about the vessels. Good strong start to the season. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't as like about the season opener as I was about the season finale, season 4, because that was a lot for me to handle. But I really enjoyed the first episode of the season. I liked it. It was fun. Although seeing Bobby in a wheelchair, not so fun. Fallen Idols. I believe I'm going to confirm this probably afterwards. I believe is voted one of the worst episodes of the season on IMDb. I did have a look after I've watched the season finale just to see what the consensus is, but I'll have another look as well after this. Fallen Idols was about people's idols coming back to life to kind of kill them. They weren't coming back to life, but it was a god who wasn't being worshipped anymore, so trying to be worshipped, he turned into people's idols to kill them. It had Paris Hilton in it. I really liked it. I really like Fallen Idols a lot. I like the comedy. I like the kind of take on James Dean and Abraham Lincoln and Gandhi. And then we looked at our modern idol, at least at the time, like Paris Hilton, and the juxtaposition of people's idols then to now. And I thought it was great. I thought Paris Hilton was brilliant in it as like a meta, funny. There was a little House of Wax dig in there, which was fun because obviously Jared and Paris were in that. Probably very controversially, I think I preferred rewatching and watching Fallen Idols. I looked forward to this on my rewatch more than I did on Sympathy for the Devil, so I was going to go for Fallen Idols. I apologise. Oh, this is going to be hard. These were the two that I knew with maybe Point No Return and Swan Song were going to be near the top, if not the top. Okay, Abandon All Hope, 100th episode show, mid-season finale. The introduction of Crowley, who was great. I love his character so far. I thought he was a fantastic introduction. The return again of Ellen and Joe for the death of Ellen and Joe. And I was not okay with it. I really struggled emotionally with it. I thought it was awful to bring them back just to kill them off. I'm not okay with that, Eric Kripke. No. But there was the Hellhounds that were good, all the Reapers that were in the town. And like I said, devastating end to two characters that I really liked, particularly Ellen. I loved her, and I'd love to see her be in the show more. I'm so gutted that she's gone. I'm gutted that they're both gone. But that was devastating to watch. That really affected me. Training Channels was fun. And I can't even say it was like a Monster of the Week episode because it did tie into the overarching narrative because the Trickster came back. But it wasn't just a Trickster episode, but we then learnt he was Gabriel, and he was now involved with the Angel storyline. So he put Sam and Dean in a kind of weird world where they were in a TV show and they had to kind of play the parts in that TV show to move on to the next TV show. And there was a medical drama, a CSI type drama, a game show, a sitcom. It was so fun, really fun. And I can see why people love this episode because it's so memorable and unique. As a concept, and I liked watching all the different shows. I would love to have seen more. Give me 5 episodes of that world and I would have loved every second. But I like that. As much as I was dubious about the Gabriel Angel storyline, watching it a second time, I really got on board with it. I loved it and it was great. They're both fantastic episodes. I don't know how I'm going to pick between these two because I loved one was devastating, one was funny, and they're so fun and great and memorable for different parts. I normally pick the sad episodes as well. Like I know from looking at my rankings in the past and my tournaments, whatever, emotional stuff sticks with me a lot more because I am an emotional wreck of a human being when I watch TV shows, especially when I'm watching them for this channel. And it's really tough because I kind of went into this thinking Swan Song, Abandon All Hope, Changing Channels, Point No Return not as much, but these three, I was like, if I can have a top 3 of like a favourite 3, I think these 3 are going to be in it. I'd be very surprised if anything beats it up. Looking at the next 2, they're not going to beat it. As much as I really enjoyed one of them in particular. But I knew these were going to be the hardest to pick between. Okay, I've been sat thinking about it for a little while. I love both. I want to pick these 2 and Swan Song my favourite. But I think I want to pick for Changing Channels because it was so unique. I've not seen that in a show before, at least that no ones that I've watched that I can think of. Really funny and so memorable as a concept. This was devastating and I love it. I love both, but I'm going to pick Changing Channels before I change my mind. Alright, last matchup of the bracket fight of the original lot. Swap Meet versus The End. Swap Meet was about Sam, whose body was swapped with a teenager. And it was the fun of seeing this teenager in this buff man's body and going to a club and hooking up with a woman, which, consent, questionable. Let's not have that conversation right now. But it was fun as a concept. It was like a random silly episode, seeing Sam in the teenager's body, trying to live his life a little bit, and it was fun. It's not a standout episode of the season. It was good, it was fine, but ultimately a bit forgettable compared to the mental season that we've had and how great it was. The End, episode 4, Dean got taken forward in future to see kind of the end, essentially. The Croton virus had taken over, the demons had winning, the apocalypse had happening. The apocalypse was happening. Sam was taken over by Lucifer. Sam had said yes, and they met up, and Sam ended up. Well, it was weird because Dean went forward in the future, but it wasn't in his body. He was transported forward and then met himself in the future. And the Dean that had lived through all that, and it was kind of cool to see them both together. Would have been nice if they shared a little kiss, but can't have everything, I suppose. I mean, it's fine, they're the same person, so technically it's just like kissing your hand. Technically. So, come on, 2 Deans kissing. We can do that, right? Anyway, stop fantasizing, Scott. Getting off topic. I really liked The End. The End was great. It was good to see the future and how things turned out and how the characters that we know had changed, like Castiel. And just seeing Sam play that part of Lucifer, which even in the Swan Song, I think he played really well. I liked him. I thought he was charismatic and intimidating and dark. And obviously Dean got killed, but Dean survived enough to go back in time and realise, okay, things need to be different. Me and Sam need to get back together. Let's not do this. I really enjoyed that. Between the two, easily The End for me. Alright, Fallen Idols, Changing Channels. I liked Fallen Idols, it was fun, but Changing Channels was so much better as an episode, and that one moves forward because it's got nothing to go against. So Changing Channels in the end, again for me, Changing Channels. And then we're on to the final matchup of the season, Swan Song versus Changing Channels. I think I am going to go for Swan Song. I know it's a cliche, and I think maybe after this first 5-season chapter of Supernatural, when we move forward, maybe I won't always pick finales. I'm hoping I don't, because I feel like I'm so predictable. But I love a season finale when it really ramps up the game. Buffy season finales are my favourite show of all time. On the most part, they were fucking standout episodes, and I love that Supernatural has that thing for me, which was ups and downs throughout the season, comedy, dark, drama, scary, sadness, different tones, building towards a climax where the final episode, there's deaths and twists and turns, and it's unpredictable, and there's cliffhangers and all this stuff. I love that. I look forward to the finale every season. Like, I can't wait to see the next season finale. Not that I have any idea what the next season is going to be about, but I think I'm going to have to go for Swan Song between the two. Changing Channels is close, as is what was it called? Abandon All Hope. I think they're my top 3 of the season, I think. But Swan Song for me, Predictable Old Scott is my favourite episode of season 5. Okay, so that was my favourite episode of the season. Let's quickly run through my least favourite of the season, which starts off really easily, because I just picked the ones that I didn't pick last time. Sam Interrupted. And this is always quite easy as well, because there's episodes here that I really enjoy, so they're going to be easy to get past. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid I didn't pick. I didn't pick The Curious Case of Dean Winchester. I didn't pick I Believe the Children Are Our Future. Well, let them lead the way. Afraid to Be You and Me. I'm so sorry. Good God, Y'all. The Devil You Know. And then finally on this side, 99 Problems. I think this is going to be quite easy. Sam Interrupted. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Ooh, he says. Which is my least favourite episode between the two. I actually think I'm going to go... It's weird, because Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid was like dark and sad at times, and quite emotional. Sam Interrupted was like a fun Monster of the Week episode that I enjoyed because it was like a one-off, like a isolated thing. I think between the two, I'll probably go for Sam Interrupted. I found Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid was with Bobby and Jodie. I think it was a lot more memorable and emotionally devastating. Curious Case and I believe the children. I didn't really love the Curious Case of Dean Winchester. It was enjoyable as for what it was, but I think ultimately not my favourite episode of the season. Free to Be You and Me and Good God Y'all, episode 3 and 2 of the season. Both not my favourite episodes of the season at all. But which one did I prefer? I think I preferred Good God Y'all because, as like I said, the Sam parts of that other episode were forgettable on the most part. The Dean stuff was fun, but I liked the storyline of Good God Y'all overall about the war and the demons not being actual demons. The Devil You Know and 99 Problems. Easily 99 Problems I think was more fun. Again, both not my favourite episodes of the seasons, but Devil You Know was disappointing, and ultimately, as it was 3 episodes, like, it was like the third to last episode, I want there to be more. 99 Problems, I liked the Prophet and how they were turning everyone on the cult mentality. I thought that was really fun. So I'm Interrupted and Curious Case of Dean Winchester. For me, Curious Case wasn't as memorable or as fun. Good God Y'all, 99 Problems, I'm probably going to go for... It's weird because they both kind of give me similar vibes, and they're both like, we're in a village, there's demons. One's that's like, demons are everywhere, let's go hunt them. One's, I'm going to go set you to find these demons that keep appearing. So they kind of both give me quite similar vibes, even though I know they're not similar really at all. But I think I'm going to pick Good God Y'all as better because I liked the introduction of war, and the fact that there were no demons I thought was a really smart twist. Although similar in 99 Problems, there was not demons kept reappearing, it was the same demons over and over again. So I say, again, similar. But I think I preferred Good God Y'all, so I'm going to pick 99 Problems as my least favourite. So the last match upon that, between those two, for me, maybe controversially, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm going to go for Curious Case. I just didn't love it that much, really. Sympathy for the Devil versus Fallen Idols. Last time I picked Fallen Idols as my favourite between the two. Again, I don't think that's going to be a popular opinion, but I did. So I'm going to pick Sympathy for the Devil. Abandon All Hope and Changing Channels. Oh, but I love it both, so this is going to be dead easy. I didn't pick Abandon All Hope, but there's no way that's going any further because I love that. Swap Meet, the end. Swap Meet wasn't anywhere near as good. This one is super easy to pick. Sympathy for the Devil, the opener, nowhere even close to Abandon All Hope. And then Swap Meet jumps forward. Sympathy for the Devil versus Swap Meet. I am going to pick Swap Meet, I think, as my least favourite between the two because whilst I liked it and it was fun, again, pretty forgettable, again, didn't really have an impact on me. Questionable things about taking away that lady's consent because she didn't realise she's sleeping with like a young teenager. But it was fun, and I would love to be in Jared Padalecki's body for a day. Or just to be in like Jared Padalecki would be nice as well. But anyway, inappropriate for YouTube. I'm going to get demonetised for that. But yeah, between the two, Swap Meet my least favourite. So the final match, my least favourite episode of season 5, is it Curious Case of Dean Winchester or Swap Meet? Both, I would say, fun, fine, funny, 3 Fs. But ultimately, 4th F, kind of not forgettable. Maybe that's the wrong thing to use. Maybe not forgettable, because I think I enjoyed all of them. Like I said, there's no episodes this season that I didn't like. And I think going into this, I kind of knew these two were going to be probably right at the bottom. But I think between the two, at least as it stands right now, Curious Case of Dean Winchester had slightly more memorable stuff in it. Like the older guy played Dean was great. And there was that sad storyline between the woman that was working with this demon and how she kind of wanted out of it. And at the end, he let her go out and age and die. Whereas Swap Meet was kind of just mostly just fun and forgettable. I guess that was the part where the kids were trying to get them to give to the demons, and they were so stupid enough to believe that was real. But I think overall, whilst that image of Sam is sexy as hell, for now as it stands, I'm going to pick Swap Meet as my least favourite episode of season 5. Okay, so I'm going to add Swan Song here to my list of favourite episodes of Supernatural. As you can see, here are my favourites of season 1 to 5, but easy to say, they're all finales so far. And I'm adding Swap Meet to my least favourite episodes of Supernatural as well. That might change if I do a rewatch. I might update you all on what's changed from favourite and least favourite. But at the moment, here's my least favourite episodes. And okay, that was the tournament of season 5 of Supernatural. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know some of the choices are probably controversial, probably because they always are with my channel. But I think Swan Song's going to be a fan favourite episode, I think. But I feel like my choices for the least favourite may be different to some people's. Like I say, I'm sure I looked at IMDb and I'm sure Fallen Idols was ranked the lowest, which just surprised me because I thought it was really fun. I really liked it. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments what your favourite is, or what your least favourite is of Season 5. And if you're excited to watch Season 6, yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. As always, my name is Scott. I hope you guys are well, taking care of yourselves and staying safe. If you enjoyed it, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you thought. And if you're watching on YouTube, please take a look at the Patreon link in the description box to help support the channel and watch the start of Season 6 if you want to. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you all very soon for the first episode of Season 6 of Supernatural.